Today we're going to talk about inequalities, okay? Inequalities are like this, these symbols. Alligators. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Yeah, they don't bite that hard. Okay? We'll just skip that for now. Inequality states that two quantities are either not equal or may not be equal. An inequality uses one of the following symbols. Oh, two of those you've seen for sure. Okay, right? What's this one? That's less than. What's this one? What is this one? Less than or equal. It could include that. Like, if I said there are at least 17 students in this room. You notice how I say at least 17? That means it could include 17. So if I said there's more than 17, that means it has to definitely be 18 or more, right? But if I said there's at least 17, that would mean, well, there's at least 7. That means it could be 17, it could be more. That's what that little equals sign, that's where that little equals sign part of it comes in. Okay? Simple enough. Then that's like greater than or equal to. Okay. So we have these, you're going to have problems that look like this. There are at least 15 people in the waiting room. Here's how I want you to attack these. Number one, I want you to put the number over here, 15. Okay? Put the number on the right side. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to go, well, what are we comparing to 15? And in this problem, we are comparing people in the waiting room. That's what we're comparing to 15. So we'd write people in waiting room. All right? Now, which one's bigger? The number of people in the waiting room or 15? Which one's bigger? Austin. People in the waiting room, so you do this. Now, the last question you have to ask yourself, does it include 15? Like, could there be 15? Does it include it? Sure does. So then if it does, then we put the little symbol on there. Complicated? Yeah. Yeah. Somebody, yeah. It's hard. Super hard. Oh, I missed one. There's another one under there. Uh-oh. The tram attendant will allow no more than 60 people on the tram. So we put our number there. What's the thing that we are comparing to 60? Tabasha. People on the tram. On tram. Which one's bigger? People on the tram or 60? Craig. 60 is bigger. You were right on your first one. Because it says there's no more than 60. No more. So if there's 61, it ain't going to happen. Okay? Now, our last question is, does it include 60? Like, could there be exactly 60? Yeah, if there could, we put the little line underneath. If the answer to that question is no, then we don't put the little line under it. All right. There are at most 10 gallons of gas in the tank. So we put 10 over here. What are we comparing to 10? Jackson? Gallons of gas in the tank. Which one's more? 10 or number of gallons in the tank? 10 is more. Does it include 10? Like, could there be exactly 10? Next one's yours. Tell me what to do. It says there's at least 10 yards of fabric left. Tell me what to do. Put the number down. Okay, did it. Yards of fabric left. Which one's bigger? Yep. Does it include 10? That's not too terribly difficult, is it? Okay. Now what are we going to talk about? Check this out. You are also going to have the other ones I just showed you were inequalities. Okay? These are now algebraic inequalities. We might not know what we're comparing, meaning A. A represents something. It could represent number of cats in a house. It could represent number of students in a classroom. It could represent number of fish in a barrel. Okay? Or monkeys in a barrel. Ever play that game? Try and hook that, whatever. All right. You can draw it out on the number line. Couple of things to remember. First of all, A is greater than 5. What way is greater than on a number line? Right or left? Right. Greater than is always going to go to the right. Less than is always going to go to the left. The hardest part of this is deciding whether or not to include the number that's there. Okay? So you know how we said before, is 10 included, is 15 included, whatever? Is this right now, is 5 included? 5 is not included, so what we do is we draw an open circle. It's just a circle. And because it's greater than, we shade it to the right. For this one, we find 3, we determine whether or not it's included, and because it's B is less than or equal to, it's included, we put a solid dot, and it's less than, so we shade to the left. So you're going to have to make these number lines. So let's get a graph. Okay, 3, right? Circle or dot? Which one? Okay, 3. Is it a circle or a dot? No, it's a circle. Circle determines whether or not it's, circle or dot determines whether or not it's included. Okay? It is not included, so it's a circle. Then, because it's less than, we just shade to the left. Okay? Next one. Circle or dot? Dot, because it's got nothing to do with being negative. Why is it, how do we know? It includes -4 because it's or equal to. So we put a solid dot. So, little hint, if you see this little guy right there, that little line underneath, it's a solid dot. If you don't see it, it's a circle. All right? Greater than, shade to the right. First one, circle or dot. All together. 1, 2, 3. Yes. I like it. Dot. less than that way. One, two, three. Last thing I want to show you is this. Sometimes we're going to have what's called a compound inequality. The result of combining two of them together. The words and or are used to describe the two parts related. Now, you can have one that goes x is greater than 3 or x is less than -1. So let's see. Are we going to do a... No, we're not going to do a number line. This one shows m is less than -2 or m could be greater than 1. So 3 steps to this. Number 1, you graph them separately. So step number 1, we would graph this one like this. Step number 2, we'd graph it like we do the other part of it. Notice how we did the 2 parts. This part comes from here, right there. This one right there. Step number 3 is just to combine them on one graph. Okay? I told you this is super simple stuff. Oops, wrong way. Last thing I want to show you is this. Now, if you graph the 2 of them and they point at each other, something looks different when you're all done. Notice how the last one, you just put both graphs on one. If you do this, if you do both the separate inequalities and they are pointing at each other, when they're pointing at each other, your final one is just shaded in between. You see the difference? You know how the first one, they were both shaded out, away from each other? This one, they're both shaded in towards each other. Don't draw any arrows. Just color in between, okay? Meredith? And that's that. Quick questions? No? Let me give you your worksheet. Good job. Thank you.